crazy dog. Oh my god. Ah! You mutt. You crazy thing. Oh, jeez. Ooh. Crazy thing. So looks good. Big dog. Sounds all excited today. See a little mutt. Hey. Dog is nuts. It's like we're gonna make drugs criminal again. No, it's an attempted vote to repeal, but I don't really think that's gonna go through. What the fuck? Where'd you just go? Where'd you go? There you are. Hey, buddy. Bonk. Zoom. Zoomy zoom. Boop. Zooks. Hey. Buddy. Receipt Dems for sport, New York says. What, a bunch of centrist liberal pieces of shit. And Democrats, quote unquote, which are just basically, Democrat name only. They're actually fucking Republicans. The only reason why they are like that is because they try to detach themselves from the more Republican GOP Trump base, which most Republicans are more in favor of, like Renee Gonzalez and Lori DeRaymer. So, it's just honestly just like a state version of the typical politics of America. Democrats become basically the Republicans, and Republicans become fucking Nazis, and yeah. Oh. 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 Oh, God, go with that. That was not good. Ah, fuck. Okay. He took a massive shit, and God, I took a whiff, and that. I'm just trying to move branches, and that's what happens. That's the highest rate in favor of overdoses. So you're in favor of being a fucking Reaganite? Because, like, that is just, like, the most conservative fucking, like, bullshit, like, question that you just, like, threw at me, dude. It's like, oh, yeah, because I'm not in favor of criminalizing something because I'm not a fucking retard, that must mean that I'm in favor of people suffering and dying because, you know, that's what conservatives like to say all the time. Liberals just want suffering and death. They just want everyone to overdose to just be on drugs all the time. Come on, get in there. Ugh, fuck, my nose. But yeah, it's just bullshit. Like, the idea of that, like, you know, these fucking far-right conservative and liberal pieces of shit, you know, because they're not willing to actually take extra steps forward, you know, when it came to, like, drug decriminalization. Now they just want to basically, you know, go the exact exact opposite of fucking regular, you know, like, actual proper treatment and, like, considering the actual health of that. Instead of treating it as a mental/physical health issue, they rather treat it as a criminal issue because it makes the police state more fucking money. So the Portland Police Bureau, the fucking, you know, different sheriffs in the fucking counties can basically use that as an excuse to round people up, beat the fuck out of people, shoot and kill them, and have them in fucking jail cells. That's the only excuse for it. Because Measure 110 was a step in the right direction, but because, you know, the measure was a half measure and didn't actually have any of the investments or programs tied into it that would help people get off the fucking streets and off of addiction, they now want to fucking, you know, cry wolf and pretend now there's a big fucking problem when there isn't. And, you know, because it's something that could easily be fucking addressed. In fact, there are resources and things out there, you know, available, but because they're so heavily underfunded because of the incompetency of liberalism, like, unironically, this is the fault of liberals. Like, they're so bureaucratic and so up their own fucking ass, they, you know, are incapable of realizing that they fucked up and are willing to, like, a change and make things better because of it. They'd rather just, like, you know, allow the status quo to be maintained, you know, make more fucking money in their fucking pockets, you know, with the different lobbyists and fucking, you know, executive board teams and shit, you know, that go back and forth, you know, on, you know, pretending like, you know, we're working things out and, you know, we're trying to figure stuff out here and blah, 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 blah. You know, even though they don't. They're just trying to figure out how they can make the most amount of fucking money and run away, you know, with the Portland city taxpayers' fucking dollars. That's what they are trying to do. And luckily, like I said before, with the voter charter reform and shit, like, you know, things are going to change for the better in Portland. Like, these stupid incompetency, you know, liberal fucks, you know, are going to not be here for quite a while. Unfortunately, it looks like the mayor might still be that way, you know, because we only got, like, 3 options so far. You got, like, Mingus Mass, Rene Gonzalez, and somebody else. And Rene Gonzalez is just a fascist, wannabe, fucking cop, joke ball piece of shit. Like, liberals and fucking Democrats voted for the guy because they thought, you know, Joanne Hardesty was a piece of shit and didn't like her, despite her being literally the only one who was good on the city council and was actually the only one worth the fuck and actually did anything remotely left or progressive. And, you know, now she's voted out. But luckily, with the charter reform, she actually unironically has a way to get back into the city council and be able to get voted in again if she so chooses. So, I mean, right now we're just kind of in like a very limbo period in Portland, and because of that, like conservatives and liberals are trying to make their fucking push to try to reverse a lot of genuine positive changes that have happened, not just in the city but in the fucking state, and want to try to like essentially just suck the dick of the police. Like that's really what Measure 110 and trying to repeal that's about. It's about being placated towards the far right conservative organizations in this fucking state and the police, especially the sheriffs. Like they fucking want this. Like they're the oil ones, and because they also got a lot of fucking money in the state and nationally too, they have a lot of money to invest in propaganda smear campaigns against the whole idea. So and raise the sentiment of, oh well, it's bullshit, isn't it? Because of the propaganda fucking game that they do, because they invest a lot of fucking money into it. So, I mean, it's all bullshit. Because what really should happen is a measure that is attached to that. That's attached to Measure 110. Instead of repealing it, expand it. Like have a measure that expands that one, when it comes to like, addiction treatment programs and like having space in Portland set aside, for, addiction treatment centers and shit. Because there's a lot of random empty parking lots, empty fucking lots, around Portland. It wouldn't be hard to, like invest a bunch of fucking money to have like, a building or two erected, when it comes to having, some addiction treatment facilities and rehabilitation facilities set up. Like, a clinic or two. New Mexico gun laws are way stricter than Alabama's. Maybe I should have gotten one when I was in Bama. Well, that was on you. Fuck. That's why I like stocked up on magazines, before that law went into effect for Measure 114. Now I have a shitload of 30 round mags, 75 round drum, and some 40 round mags. But Measure 114, I wouldn't inherently be against the idea of appealing, but I mean, honestly, just because of how fucking broken the verbiage is. Not both. I think that's just how the law is across the board. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing in Oregon. That's why, honestly, I haven't gotten MedCard. Worth basically losing gun rights. Well, I mean, from my understanding, at least, honestly, I don't know how this how this works anymore, because from my understanding, there was a federal judge that ruled that just because someone's a marijuana user or smokes marijuana or cannabis doesn't immediately revoke their gun rights, at least on a national level. So I think at this point, it sounds like it's just state discretion. Because I know at least Oregon was like that, but I don't know if Oregon still upholds that anymore. But to be fair, I know plenty fucking stoners that also own guns. So, I mean, it's... I feel like it's just one of those things that isn't, like, super heavily enforced unless, you actually overtly do have a med card or something. I have no idea. I know Mexico's pushing gun laws right now. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I remember reading up about some of that, and, I mean, some of it's fine, but a lot of it's just fucking stupid. I honestly think. Magazine capacity ban. Yeah, see, and I think that's just stupid. Like, mag capacity bans doesn't, like, it really doesn't do much. Besides just annoy the fuck out of people like me. Honestly. Like, like, I don't see any value of, like, that type of shit, because, what's stopping, a mass shooter, hypothetically, from just stocking up on, like, 10 fucking mags instead of, like, 4. It's like, sure, there's, like, space in between, the shots or whatever, because now they have to reload or whatever the hell, but, like, I mean, when it comes down to it, when it comes to an event like that, I'm pretty sure whether they have, like, 10-round magazines or, like, 4 30-rounders, I don't think that fucking matters. I literally don't think shit like that matters at that point. I think there's other issues that need to be addressed. So it's just like, I mean, it's just stupid. I just think it's silly. it kind of undermines the whole point of trying to like regulate firearms and stuff, because it's just an easy talking point for like amosexual conservative types to be like, see, they just want to ban that thing. You know, so it's just like it's an easy fucking, you know, it's just not, it's something that should not be touched, period, honestly, because it's just an easy fucking thing for conservatives to rile their base up with. And it really just kind of, I think, arguably shows the lack of honest, like, you know, nuance or like intelligence when it comes to firearms on, you know, the people that want to restrict it, because they only see like death aspect of it, which, yeah, it's a part of that. Frankly, it is. But it's just like, I mean, you can regulate that aspect of all that type of shit instead of like, you know, just banning everything because, oh, it's a scary oogly boogly thing. Overheard me talking to mom in a restaurant back home in Roswell, said, don't go into the desert at night. It's a great tone to his voice. Both creeped us out. Well, yeah, don't go. Well, yeah, don't go out in the desert at night. Like, not only is there like venomous like snakes and like scorpions, things like that out there, it's harsh. Like, the desert night is cold and harsh as fuck. Like, you will probably get, you know, if you're not properly equipped or prepared, you will fucking die out there. Like, it's, you know, so yeah, like, I'm pretty sure he was saying that type of shit, not just because of like, you know, superstition shit, just because it's, you know, something that, yeah, the desert, especially at night, is dangerous. I mean, it could be pretty. I mean, you know, a desert night with clear skies, stars out, full moon, all that shit, it's beautiful as fuck, but, you know, you want to make sure that you're prepared, you know, or at least if you're out in desert at night, you're not like too deep into it, like you're on the side of a road or something. Because, like, yeah, like, I mean, when it comes down to it, the desert, especially at night, regardless of what desert it really is fucking, you know, like, pretty dangerous. Talk about going for the roads, not in the desert, not the desert in the car. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, like, when it, like, I mean, and at that point, whatever. I mean, it's just like, I mean, either way, it's one of those things where I probably would hold true to it. Where it's like, you know, I wouldn't want to be out in the desert at night either, personally. I mean, just because, like I said, it gets fucking cold. Like, you know, it might be nice and hot and warm, you know, during the day, but it will drop fat quick, you know, once it gets dark. Once that sun's gone in the desert, it gets cold quick. The road between here and Roswell is supposedly haunted, too. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was, you know, plenty of people that have gotten killed in drunk driving accidents and shit like that. I mean, yeah, 150 miles of desert. Yeah, it's a lot of desert and probably nothing much in between. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, someone dozed off, crashed and died, and now there's stories and stuff about it being haunted because of incidents like that. And other shit. I know there's probably other superstitious stories and things. What's the UFOs? Well, you're basically priming yourself anyway. Well, guess what? Like, you're more likely to see UFOs because, like, versus anything else, because one, skinwalkers and wendigos don't exist. That's just fucking silly. And also, like, UFOs, that's just a broad term for unidentified flying object. So, I mean, especially in the desert, yeah, and on a clear night sky, just stare up in the stars enough and you're going to see stuff. Mostly shooting stars and like little meteorites and things like that are falling to Earth, but still, cool. But more in the forest. Okay, look, I'm just going to be fucking blunt with you. Please tell me you don't actually believe this shit. Please tell me you don't actually believe this stuff. Because you do realize it's just fucking nothing but superstition. That's what it is. And especially when it comes to Bigfoots, you want to know why they're more seen in the forest? Because they're just black bear sightings. UFOs, yes. Well, okay, outside of that, I'm willing to at least give a pass for UFOs and shit, so everything else is fun. Okay. Good. Good. It's one thing to, like, have fun with it, but, to just, like, to be like, oh no, I believe. Yeah, Bigfoot's out there. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can't bitch too much because, like, I do say that Bigfoot was a thing. Like when it comes to, like, early nomadic peoples and shit from, like, 10,000 BC or whatever the fuck, like the last, like during the Ice Age era of things, but beyond that, nah. Sony's adamant that Bigfoot is real. I'm, like, but he won't budge on UFOs, which I find fucking silly. That's what I find silly. I'm on I'm more willing to believe UFOs than a Bigfoot. Because think about it. Like, it would be one thing if it was like the 50s or some shit, and and there's people that have heard stories out in the wood. Like, that would be one thing, right? But it's 2024. Like, we got fucking high quality cameras. People live stream all the time. People like take pictures of crazy shit all the fucking time, right? Like, at this point, just on the virtue of some, like, white boy tourist or, like, some, like, Starbucks latte mom, in Yellowstone or some shit, like, with their fucking iPhone, like, just on that virtue alone, we should have seen, like, a Bigfoot or something by now. Like, I mean, seriously, like, I mean, at this point, just on that virtue alone, we should have seen something. Like, concrete overt evidence, not like, some potato camera speculative bullshit. So, like, that's why, I don't think Bigfoot's a thing anymore. I do arguably think it was, like I said, but, like, 10,000 BC shit, like with early nomadic peoples and stuff like that. Hence why maybe stories of a Bigfoot have probably been passed down for so fucking long, because we probably, our early fucking ancestors probably legit mingled with them before. They probably were, an ancient group, and, were, like, ancient peoples as well in their own way. Just all hairy, right? Like, so, I mean, I'm willing to grant that. And because of, like, the typical, like, idea about where they exist, being heavily in the forest and all that shit, doing archaeological dig sites, stuff like that, gotta be pretty fucking hard. Like, so realistically, like, being able to find any evidence of their existence anyway is probably going to be pretty minimal, because, if really much at all, because, like, all the stuff that is discovered is fresh stuff, like, foot cast prints and things like that. It's nothing like some ancient archaeological shit or like something from a long time ago. And even then, we do find some pretty interesting stuff where we're like, oh, we found some more evidence of, like, that helped connect the chain of, like, some of our early ancestors a little bit, like, or we found a common ancestor to an extent. We have, so it's not like we can't make these discoveries because we have. So, like, that's why I think that, basically. I don't really, think they exist anymore, but I do think, at one point they probably have. The Palmyra Bay Dogman. That's some horror film worthy shit, even if a lie. No, I know what you're talking about. Dude, the whole, like, werewolf / dogman story in North America, like, there's a road in Wisconsin that is infamous for being, like, Werewolf Highway, basically. A little tribe of these things siege a house in the forest. Whoa. Beast of Bray Road? Yeah, Bray Road, yeah. It wasn't a highway, but it was like a road, yeah. It's Bray Road, and it's like a very long stretch of road, and there's always been very strange accounts about, like, a werewolf-esque, like, creature, being on that road. So, I mean, there's definitely, like, certainly some strange shit about that. I mean, for me, I think, it's also partially maybe misidentified black bears or brown bears to an extent, as well, but likely just really aggressive bears, and also likely potentially, maybe even a wolf too. Like a really big one. Has a handful of dogman accounts too. And like I said, chances are they could be misidentified wolf or bear sightings, because that's usually what Bigfoot sightings are. Pretty much like 90% of them are just overtly misidentified black bears, because there are a lot of black bears that will legit, like, can't stand up on their hind legs and even walk on their hind legs for a little bit. It's kind of crazy. Like, they will straight be, they could do shit like that, and it's just like, whoa. You know, so, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone thinks they saw a fucking Bigfoot when he got this big brown bear, like, or black bear just standing up and walking a little bit or something. Your town had Bigfoot sightings back in the 80s. What do you mean, Milwaukee, or do you mean Portland? Because if you mean Portland, then bullshit. But if you mean Milwaukee, I mean, it's bullshit. Even then, bullshit, okay? Like, I mean, yeah, I doubt it. I mean, I don't doubt the story, you know, being a thing, but I doubt the fact that happened. Like, even in the 80s, I mean, Milwaukee's pretty close to Portland. Like, it's not that hard. It's like Portland's like literally like this with Milwaukee. Like, we border Portland. We're a part of the greater Port metro area. So it's like, it's too urbanized. There's too much suburban shit around here. Like, even during the 80s, it was pretty rapidly growing by that point. Like, the 80s, 90s, 2000s is when Milwaukee really blew up. And, like, really started to expand. So, I mean, I just don't see how that would be a thing, especially considering the whole idea that they're very reclusive and want to stay away from people. So if that's the case, then why would they be near a population area? Doesn't make sense. Like, the story right off the bat does not make sense. Because also, there's plenty of little towns all over around Milwaukee. You got, like, Damascus, Boring, Estacada, Oregon City. Like, you have all these other fucking, towns that surround Milwaukee. So it's like, what? There was no sightings in these areas? What? Did that Bigfoot just somehow elude sightings, from all these other areas around Milwaukee? Which is also more rural. Like, Oregon City, Estacada, like, Damascus, Boring, like, these other towns are way more rural in comparison to Milwaukee. So how in the fuck was there a sighting here, but not anywhere else? Like, in the local area, especially around the same time? It just doesn't make sense. That's why I say, like, I mean, I kind of figured it was going to be bullshit. That's why, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a black bear, honestly, that they saw. And other people in the more rural areas, because they're probably familiar with them and seen them a lot, were like, oh, there's a black bear. But over here, maybe not as much, as someone was like, is that a Bigfoot? Oh, shit. It's like, no, it's just probably the black bear, checking shit out. Around here, Port Rouse, I found is a handful of UFO accounts, a couple skinwalker counters. Because that's all you're going to find, probably. If there's not aliens in Portland, how do you explain waking up like, man, why does my ass feel really sore? Well, the thing is, I know why that tends to be the case. And I'm okay with it, because I'm usually the one that's allowing it to happen. So, I mean, at least for me, I would know. Alright, hold on. Let me do this real quick. Cool. Fuck these teachers is a link. Dogman's just a less cool werewolf. Yeah, pretty much. That's how I feel about it. It's a less cooler Dogman, or a less cooler werewolf. The teachers would love to give homework. God damn it. Okay, there we go.
Whoa. Okay, class, it looks like we're out of time. It's Friday, I know, but I'm sorry. Y'all gonna have homework. Y'all gonna have Mr. Johnson. What is it, Timmy? It's impossible for me to do homework. Okay, and why is that? Because I'm homeless! Oh, I'm sorry. I never even thought of that. In that case, you're gonna have homeless work! Homeless work, yeah! You're gonna have homeless work. You're gonna have to write an essay on Michael Jackson. Mr. Johnson, you gotta do the grading. You gotta do it, Timmy. Timmy, you gotta do the grading. And that's not that done. Timmy, you gotta...
Homeless work? Damn. Oof. A werebear? Oh my god, dude. Man, there's just people just got too much time on their hands. A werebear. Man, like, I kind of have to just refer to my thing from earlier. It's like sometimes bears will stand up on 2 feet and just like walk, on their hind legs and shit. I'm laughing at Native Americans. I'm not laughing at Native. I'm not laughing at them. I'm just kind of laughing at the silliness of the whole werebear thing. I mean, look, werebears are cool. Like werewolves, werebears, shit like that. I mean, they're cool, but I mean, they're still, silly superstitions, though. I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of like religious, superstitions of any form are kind of silly. I mean, but whatever. I mean, it's like I honestly find a lot of the superstitions of like, Native Americans or like indigenous religions and shit like that, whether from America or elsewhere, like, I think they're honestly way more cooler in comparison to like Christian superstitions or whatever the fuck, right? It's like, oh no, you might be possessed by a demon, and it might make you suck a dick and make you gay. Like, oh wow, Christian superstitions, so scary, so cool. Meanwhile, Native American, superstitious, like, we have a Wendigo that will, shapeshift into many creatures and then eat your soul and haunt you for the rest of your days. We also have werebears and skinwalkers and all this other cool shit. It's like, oh, okay. Dope. It's like, at least this shit sounds pretty cool. So we laugh at them. Well, I'm not, oh my god, I'm not saying, like, well, it's not my fault I'm an anti-theist. My bad. Damn. It's not my fault I don't believe religions and shit. I mean, they can believe in all they want. I don't care. I mean, I find it pretty cool. I want, if anything, for like that shit to stay preserved to, to a degree, because like, I mean, there's been too much of Native American culture that's already been like exterminated anyway, because yay, thanks America and Canada, but and Spaniards, but it's still. I mean, I've always been the thing about like, like take like some of the lame shit out of cultures and just keep the cool shit. I've always said that about we're really just like any, culture just in general. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like there isn't like, some sort of exemption with that personally, but whatever. I mean, it's nothing against them. Like, I mean, like fundamentally at the end of the day, like I said, like any, just religious superstitions just in general, regardless of what they are just kind of silly, but whatever. It's like, it's not a big deal to me. I at least, think it's cool that there's at least, more of like a genuine, like kind of creative, element to it, in comparison to just like, demon makes you gay or something, it possesses you to do crazy dances in the village and something like that. It's like, I mean, at least it actually is kind of cool. It's not like, some stupid, Christian voodoo bullshit. It makes sense it counts with the Thunderbird, which giant bird. Yeah, I've heard of it. I mean, dude, birds are already pretty fucking big as it is. I mean, have you seen a goddamn bald eagle? Like, next to a human being? Dude, their wingspan is fucking ridiculous. Like, a bald eagle could straight up just pick up a toddler and just, like, fly away with it. I swear to God. Like, I mean, dude, like, a big, full-grown bald eagle, the motherfuckers are huge. I mean, and also, like, the Great Harpy Eagle, or the Golden Eagle, I think is also nicknamed, or something like that. Dude, that thing is even bigger. It's just like, what the fuck? Bald ego? You mean Trump about his 2P? I mean, I know low-hanging fruit. Yeah, that kind of was. But no, bald eagle. Oh, guys, a lot of these people over here. I know. I mean, dude, there's a lot of, like, little missing report signs and stories and stuff like that happen around here. Just below Alaska is missing people. Wait, we're really? I figured there would be other states like Wyoming or some shit that would be like lagging behind Alaska, but I guess not. Food link. Churro bars? Ooh. Those look pretty good. Yeah, let's see what little things we can look at on YouTube. Oh, this is actually pretty big news. Jon Stewart's back on The Daily Show. That happened yesterday a little bit. Yeah, there's some news around that, but like, looks like there's even more, even with Kyle showing something too. I'm honestly kind of glad for that. You know, we need his voice. Jon Stewart's a Chad, bro. Yeah, like, cause Trevor Noah, meh, lame. You know, I'm not even gonna lie. He was kind of cool for like the first couple months, but then after that, he just really became just like, you know, fucking just a lib, hardcore. When Jon Stewart ended up doing his own thing, kind of got fucked with Apple, and he was like, well, fuck that shit then. Going back to The Daily Show, I guess. I mean, you know, I kind of figured it was probably going to be something like that, or he's just going to do his own independent thing, which I was kind of hoping for. But I guess it's about, you know, it's pretty much the equivalent of that. It's an independent thing going right back into his own thing, right back into his whole show. Scoff at real footage of Bigfoot. Yeah, like, yeah, because there's none. Mix butter, light brown sugar, eggs, vanilla, baking powder, kosher salt, all-purpose flour, sugar, and cinnamon. Pretty simple. Steve Cooper was good. Yeah, Steve. Oh, I mean, he's good. I like him, but I mean, you know, no one really just holds the mantle like Jon Stewart does. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of laid the foundation almost. Well, I mean, not necessarily. I would say like there was other people, you know, like George Carlin, for example, that I think kind of helped lay the foundation. But I think, honestly, I'd argue that at least, you know, in today's era, like the closest to a Carlin for our time, I think honestly would be someone like Jon Stewart. I mean, he doesn't even come close to Carlin either, but, if I had to say who would be like today's version of that, probably him. I just wish it'd be, you know, more, you know, recognized, honestly, because, I mean, Jon Stewart really does some really badass fucking shit. He's a fucking, like, genuine motherfucker. What about Jim Jeffries? Oh, dude, he's fucking great, too. I like me some Jeffries. And who else? There's also like Jimmy Carr, who's pretty funny. He's more of like a comedian that likes to react to hecklers. Like he has kind of like a theme or like a little motif with his comedy bits because he actually encourages hecklers to go to his shows because he likes to kind of riff off of hecklers that kind of fuck on him. And then he fucks on back on the audience. It's honestly pretty good. I like Jimmy Carr. If you haven't seen any of his stuff, you should check his shit out. What about Dave Chappelle? Whatever. He used to be kind of funny. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's just like, especially considering his right-wing arc right now and just being like, oh my god, you know, good comedians just get all censored. It's like, yeah, nah, fuck him. At this point, he's soiled his reputation with me. I think he's a bit of lib on his gun stunts, though. Well, he's from Australia. So, you know, I mean, I don't think, you know, I don't, you know, whatever. Like, I'm only granting him a pass on that, I suppose. What about Tim Allen? Oh my god, you're just trolling now, dude. Come on. Tim Allen, dude. Wow. What the fuck, dude? Avert your eyes, Venom, for this beauty. It's too great for your perception. Oh my god, that's fucking nice. That is beautiful. That is goddamn tasty as fuck, son. Not even gonna lie. Not even gonna lie, that was fire as fuck. Looked amazing. Meme. We got a meme. I'm joining the war on Texas on the side of the federal government. Damn, dude. Dude, Mario Marks, dude. Dude, Mario Marks. He kind of looks like Mario and Superman mixed together with a little bit of, like, Zeus garnish and, like, Thor garnish, dude. I love it. Fucking based. I love how your last stream ended on the fuck and then it quit. Yeah, because Streamlabs, I guess the last little thing we wanted to look at, Streamlabs is like, nah, we're gonna crash now. Now we're gonna crash. After like 4+ hours of that whole shebang, now we're gonna do it. At least it was gonna wrap it up anyway at that point, but still, that was just like, wow. Pretty comedic timing on that one. Like, what the fuck? Clicked it, and then it crashed, and I went, the fuck? I just did it again, but louder. I was like, no! Well, so far for looking at the Flex Seal shoe, I guess, or whatever the fuck. The fuck is Venom showing me? Oh, it's just an old Jordan Peterson meme. Yeah, we've seen it before. Yeah, I know of that meme. We know of the meme. Here, let's see what little things we can do now. See TJ's latest video? I probably already have, just because he uploads a lot of that stuff on, you know, from Abandoned Hope. Brianna text me for, blocks me for, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, because I was on as Abandoned Hope. Got free groceries at your front door? Huh. But we didn't order them. Maybe someone in your neighborhood noticed that you were new neighbors and came over, but I mean, maybe y'all weren't at home yet. Everything to make chicken fajitas. Ooh. Yeah, maybe one of your neighbors noticed that y'all moved in and wanted to like gift you some stuff, but maybe y'all weren't home at the moment or something and just dropped them off. I mean, I don't know if you and your mom left your house at all today, but if so, that would probably be it. You're home all day and mom's sick. Well, maybe at some point they showed up, but maybe y'all were asleep or something, and I don't know. I mean, I would guess that maybe one of your neighbors noticed that y'all moved in, and, you know, we're gonna, you know, say, hey, what's up? You know, we're down the street, blah, 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 blah. We noticed y'all moved in, and, you know, but, I don't know. Creepy. That's not really creepy, dude. Like, when, you know, people, like, notice, like, you know, some neighbors, or some new neighbors that move in, like, it's not really a weird thing to, like, you know, go up and knock on the door and be like, oh, hi, you know, we're the neighbors from down the street, you know, or whatever. You know, you guys just move in, you know, or whatever. You know, it's like, that's not weird. It's just introducing yourselves, because obviously if you're living in the area, you're probably going to see them a bunch, and, you know, like, because they're down the street, so, you know, if anything, it's just breaking the ice. That's just what it is. Like, I mean, you know, there's been times where people have moved in, like, you know, like around here and shit, and I'll be like, oh, hey, when'd you move? You just moved here recently? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, not too long ago, blah, blah, blah. And at least, you know, break the ice to get acquainted, so they at least, you know that I live here and all this other shit and blah, blah, blah. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally fine. That's just like, that's the whole point of knowing your neighbors. That's like, you know, what, you know, that's a lot of things of what I talked about before. It's like, you know, knowing your community and shit like that. Like, that's a part of that. I also have no money box. Well, get one set up. Someone saw, like, just look at all these left-wing people govern in other countries. Like, who? You can't have a coyote call itself a duck and slaughter a chicken. Could be like, duck killed all these hens. I mean, isn't Brianna Wu kind of like a little unhinged anyway? It has a community mailbox, like an apartment. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, one of those. I mean, that's kind of like down the street, actually. Like, my road, half of it is like one of those, and then like the houses over here, like mine, this one, and then like this one over here aren't. But the rest of them down way over there are, way on the other, just down the road. It's like the rest of them are like that. I don't know why, but I mean, it's whatever, I guess. I don't want to know my neighbors. Well, if you're living in that area and all that shit, then you're going to have to, whether you like it or not. So you might as well break the ice and, just get it out of the way. Mind the business, I'm on my own. There's nothing wrong with that because, like, I do the same thing usually. But I also still at least know my neighbors and chat with them and shit because, well, they're my neighbors. They, like me, have been here for like years on end. Aside of like the few handful that moved off and on. See, no one's going in here smoke shit, whatever. I mean, if you really just want to be like the hermit in the, like, woods or some shit, then it's just like, then why didn't y'all do that? Like, come on. I'm honestly kind of surprised there isn't really too much on tube at the moment. It's like, what the fuck? Not the majority of people on the left. Funny how she never mentions anything about foreign students. So it's super distressing to me. I guess we'll look at that video. Fuck it. Move to the woods of Oregon. Well, I want to have a little ranch, or some shit out in Oregon. So hey. But by the way, you're gonna have to at least like work your keep a little bit too, though. I ain't gonna be the only one doing shit. Oregon's paranormal as fuck. It can be.
Brianna,
woo! Woo! Woohoo!
Turns out that I am blocked. This is a new development as of today. We had a little discussion earlier. So here's the initial tweet that Brianna Wu put out that I responded to. Just being honest, I would choose the American system all day long, even with our ample faults, over any of these communist, tanky lunatics having any level of power. They praised Stalin, who executed hundreds of thousands of political opponents. And
I just gotta say bad be a dude. Like, wait. Not if it's your house. Well, yeah, unless well, what if we both like pitch our like funds together and co-own it? Because that's a thing, right? So if that's the case, then we're both landlords by that logic. So, and if anything, I'd probably would likely have a little bit more ownership to it anyway, considering that I'm the one who has lived here all my life. So
millions more in gulags. You relentlessly ethnically cleanse for political expediency. Look at how they behave online. No desire to accommodate other beliefs, no willingness to compromise, no appreciation of process, just a demand for utopia with a culture that dehumanizes and harasses anyone who disagrees. Terrifying to imagine how they would wield power.
I love this like tweet that Brianna Wu's posting because she's saying this about the left. But honestly, I would say all this type of shit, but just replace all like the like leftist names like Stalin and all this other shit, with just right wing shit. Their praise of Reagan or Bush or Trump, whatever. Well, I guess more or less like Bush, because I guess instead of executed, it'd be just like with the blood of the hands of hundreds of thousands of civilians, political opponents, and millions have died in wars overseas and shit. Directly from Iraq and shit like that. I mean, you know, it's like, honestly, like, I can be, you know, there, outside of like a couple rephrasings in a tweet, you could say the exact same thing about the far right and the political apparatus of like the GOP and shit. I mean, it's like, this is so strange. Does she know what utopia means? Yeah, I don't think she does. And also, like, I mean, yeah, who is she referring to with this? Like, I hate this. Is why, you know, this like terminal online garbage doesn't mean fuck all, dude. I mean, and this is why I hate it when people like, and yeah, you know, frankly, Voosh as well. On top of this, amongst other folks, like, you know, their weird obsession of like, you know, holding strong value over bullshit, you know, from fucking like Twitter or some shit is just absurd. It's not like a reflection of, you know, on the ground reality, you know, when it comes to actually touching grass, so to speak, right? You know, it's like, it just isn't. Because this type, you know, this weird shit here is just not reflective of reality. Like, because you know, like, I'll hear that shit, like, I've heard it before, but it's like, you know, it's certainly more of a prominent thing via conservatives, and also it's like, you know, especially me being on the left, like, it never really comes up, mainly just because, like, shocker, I'm not someone who like praise Stalin or some shit. You know, it's like, I mean, it's one of those things where you can, you know, have these conversations, even with conservatives to an extent sometimes, you know, and sometimes it doesn't even get brought up. You know what? You know, like, cool. You know, it's like, I mean, this is more or less like a thing that is strictly more or less online. It just is. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you can actually have legit, fairly cordial conversations, even if they get a little heated, you know, with other people, like, when it comes to, like, you know, talk to them face to face. I love how when people make these massive broad statements and they provide no examples, like when I talk about shit cons aren't like shit. Yeah, I mean, same thing for me, even. Like, a lot of shit that I say stuff is usually because it's a direct reaction to shit that shocker, like conservatives or some other dumb fuck is doing. Like, you know, it's not, and also considering the repeated pattern of how frequent, you know, this happens with others, you know, who will happen to be of the similar group, like, you know, conservatives and shit, right? Like, yeah. I mean, it's because of actual, like, real life repeated patterns and examples and stuff. Like, this is just, like, just broad, just jabbing at people for the sake of jabbing at them.
Now, when it comes to tankies, I don't even know what a tanky is, to be honest with you. I've tried to wrap my mind around the concept of the tanky.
Has TJ got like a little mini faux hawk going on?
As far as I can tell,
dude, he does.
Means a current day leftist who extols the virtues of the Soviet Union. That seems to be the most cogent definition that my mind can come up with. As far as that goes, I guess I'm not a tanky. You'll never hear me praising Stalin, simply because I'm bisexual and Stalin persecuted homosexuals. So, pretty much never going to be on that guy's side. Never going to really be a strong urge on my part to defend him. However, I did take issue with some of this, and maybe my response will make it clear what I took issue with. I said, you like your killing done far away, where you can kid yourself it's not happening. Who cares if some child slave dies mining lithium for your iPhone? That's far away. It's easy to pretend the American system is bloodless when the blood is being spilled across the ocean. So I took issue with the way that she just kind of exempted American violence. She's talking about all this tanky violence, and, you know, I'm glad she's condemning it, I suppose. But she then goes on to say, well, you know, I'd take the American system any day over that. But the American system is also violent, bloody, exploitative, cruel, dehumanizing, etc.
Okay, no one on the left believes this except Venom. And now he's, dude, I don't think Venom, I honestly wonder if he has any political beliefs at this point, because Jesus Christ, so much of it's just like, Hail Trotsky, Stalin's base, America, fuck yeah, I'm a patriot to this country. Fuck them commies. It's like, he's just flip-flopping everywhere.
And
like, I mean, he'll be like far-right conservative like 1 second, then literally 2 seconds later be a tanky, then 2 seconds after that be a Trotskyist, 2 seconds after that be a centrist, vote blue no matter who guy. 2 seconds after that, it's like, you're just flip-flopping everywhere for the memes.
Just felt like pointing that out. And she said, no one thinks the American system is bloodless. And I said, forgive me for misunderstanding your point.
Well, actually, excuse me, I do have concrete, but luckily, okay, look, I was I'm being a little hyperbolic, dude. I'm not being that serious. I mean, I'm memeing. I just troll for fun. Well, I just kind of said that you were doing it for the memes. Like, I don't think you're actually being serious. I mean, good lord. Man, you take me so fucking seriously, Jesus.
You claim that the reason you prefer the American system to a tanky...
It's like he has multiple personalities and each one's at different political positions. I know, dude.
Is tankies are violent and support gulags and so forth. If you admit the American system runs on blood, how does the distinction you've drawn make sense? To which she responded, the West has a process for dealing with our George Bush figures. Tankies don't believe in democracy. I think they are inherently fascist. To which I responded, we do? Like what? Electing him twice, then reforming his warmonger image to the point where key figures of the opposition party now hang out with him socially and take selfies with him at baseball games?
Yeah, because, the process of handling our George Bushes is like taking some awesome selfies, and stuff. And why are people calling that out? Have you seen the new iPhone with its like 4 cameras? Oh my god. And just like being totally rehabilitated, doing fucking speaking tours with like, the fucking establishment liberals and conservatives alike. It's just like, I mean, the dude's been rehabilitated and like overtly. Like, I mean, it's like the dude very much got away with being a war criminal, fascist, dog water piece of shit.
And then she blocked me. So, I have never been of the mindset that just...
Even if it's true, the only reason for this violence advocacy is the response to violence under liberal and far-right governing. Exactly. Which, unfortunately, has been, something that is, like, it's just a pattern of history time and time again. Because, the status quo and the paradigm, in its, various different forms, like, throughout history, has been, like, predominantly by the power classes that are, pretty liberal or pretty far-right in nature.
Because...
Yes, rehabilitation has just been accepted. Yeah, you're kind of right, honestly, because everyone was, like, worshipping his fucking dick, during, his administration and presidency.
Someone's blocked you, that means you automatically win. I've never been of the mindset...
Big fist this high, ignore I'm gonna get you tonight. Nice, cool.
Says that blocking a person sort of just implicitly puts forth the idea that you can't handle what they have to say. Because I've blocked plenty of people, and the vast majority of the time when I've blocked people, it's been for one reason and one reason only. They annoyed the shit out of me. So I assume that what I said annoyed the shit out of her. But at the same time, I don't really see how, because nothing I said was...
It's like someone getting bullied all throughout school, and one day they snap and beat the shit out of bullied, and everyone's like, man, why are you so violent all of a sudden? What the hell? Yeah, and then they rehabilitate the bully, and, because that's just normal behavior to, everybody from what they do. So the one time they get clapped back, everyone's like, oh shit, well, what the hell? I only block bots and people are really sus like those map weirdos. Yeah, I mean, back when I was on Twitter, it was pretty much the same thing. Or just like, far-right trolls that, would just incessantly continue to follow me around, and it's just like, okay, this is just annoying. But honestly, at that point, I would just mute them so I wouldn't have to see their shit. While they could still look at my stuff and try to berate me by tweeting and be like, you're an idiot, you're a fur-fed, you're this, come here, or whatever the fuck. It's just like, at least at that point, I wouldn't have to see it. So usually I just do that. But yeah, I mean, at that point, that's pretty much, what my logic was with it. That was pretty much my premise. Totally forgot you're on Twitter. Yeah, well, it's kind of like a worthless hellscape site anyway.
Impolite.
Not on Twitter. Well, yeah, don't call it that.
Nothing I said.
It's mandatory to dead name, that and call it Twitter. It's Twitter. And it'll always be that. I don't care what Elon Musk, wants to try to do to say otherwise.
Everything I said was in keeping with the discussion at hand. A discussion which she engaged me in. I mean, she could have very easily just ignored my response and gone about her day. She chose to respond to it. I chose to respond back. And for the crime of responding back, and just pointing out that, hey, we don't have a way of dealing with our George Bushes here because we didn't deal with George Bush here. For that, I was blocked. So in this instance, I would say, yes, it does kind of seem to me that I was blocked for making a good point. And if I didn't make a good point, then she should have responded to it, or, I don't know, ignored me, I guess. I think that she was kind of upset that I was getting likes, maybe. She was maybe upset that there were people agreeing with me and not with her, even though she had more agreement, obviously, on her own Twitter than I do. It's not like I was ratioing her, but I was starting to get some likes and stuff, and maybe she saw that as like a threat. I'm not exactly sure. It's also possible that maybe she did think I was defending tankies, even though I never said a word in that direction. I don't feel like I did anything worth blocking me over. So I guess I'm a little upset by it, because I was kind of enjoying following her Twitter. I'd followed it for not very long, for about a month, I guess. And I'd seen a number of things that I agreed with, a number of things I didn't agree with, and I was enjoying following it. But I guess now I can't anymore because I dared to say that she's wrong about us holding George W. Bush accountable, even though we clearly didn't. So I feel like I've been blocked for saying something that's just objectively correct, which is an odd feeling because I don't think I've ever been blocked for that before. I don't think I've ever been so absolutely respectful in a discussion only to have it be known that my voice is not welcome. But
I like to make my stuff last. I mean, Venom's way more gun-ho about it than I am. I just kind of like to egg it on a little bit, being like, oh, well, yeah, bullshit, because honestly, yeah, I kind of feel like it is bullshit. I mean, I've seen how much this motherfucker coughs, okay? Like, I mean, there ain't no way. But, like, he's the one egging it on. I'm the one who's just like, I don't care. Still expensive. Well, not around here. Like, I mean, ounces around here could be between, like, 35 to, like, $45 these days. That's pretty cheap. But I don't know. Yeah.
It obviously is her Twitter and her choice. Hey, if you like this clip, you might like the full Streaminist Productions Patreon. Link down below.
Streaminist Productions, dude. I like that little cut. Streaminist Productions Patreon.
Thank you, kind. But it just seems like...
What about carts? Well, vapes and carts and stuff like that make me cough way too much.
She's using the horrors and atrocities of the Soviet system to make excuses for the American system.
Which anything, I think, just kind of shows that Brianna Wu's just got like a hardcore America-centric, mindset about these type of things. Because honestly, I mean, it really is just like that, though. And is YouTube really going to be doing that? Okay, I guess it is.
Excuses.
I guess YouTube is just being stupid. Whatever. But, like, I mean, it's just basically, just a stupid, like, knee-jerk reaction to anyone that might, like, be lefty just because, like, oh, well, that equates to being a tanky, or, like, in the USSR, or Stalin, and, like, blah, 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 even though that's not the case. I mean, sure, you might get, like, some niche terminally online weirdos that are like that, but if you actually, like, are on the ground, so to speak, and actually talk with people, that isn't the case, even with other lefties. Like, sure, you might get some that might, like, enjoy talking about the topics or, the history around stuff like that, but it's not like, some sort of, like, endorsement or something. Let's just think, see, or, kiss Stalin's, Jesus Christ. Leftists are just tankies kissing Stalin's shoes. And such examples include tumbleweeds. Oh, such. Well, yeah, whatever. Well, my brain just kind of went, anyway, so whatever. See if we can see UFOs. Oh, yeah, get ourselves high and potentially, prime ourselves to just, like, see shit because we just, like, get so high we might see something. Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, yeah. I just love how even, like, between, even like Breonna Willis is kind of like, capitulated to the idea of just like, oh yeah, we've dealt with our, George Bushes, we have a process here. It's just embracing them with open arms, essentially. And letting them live to their full life and fullest until they just croak. Which, is basically what happened with Kissinger. It's like he was basically accepted and embraced by pretty much everybody within the establishment, liberal and conservative alike, and lived to his fullest until he died. And that guy was a fucking bloodthirsty, like, murderous, war criminal piece of shit. So, I mean, yeah, it's like, that's how we deal with our fucking war criminals and pieces of shit that, might have, like, gulags or executions and, deaths and, overseas and all this other shit. Which America does kind of have its own gulags. Gitmo, Abu Ghraib, places like that. We definitely got black sites, probably in the U.S. too, as well. I mean, so it's just like, like, we have our own. I mean, the prison industrial complex in itself can arguably play a part of that too. Keep doing the shit that's rotting the planet's habitability instead of being like, just maybe we should just try something different. I know, dude. It's annoying. It really is fucking annoying. And honestly, at least, the other night, or a couple nights ago, looking at, like, Vosh's, like, or DFF's, like, kind of, like, reaction to Vosh basically being like, well, fuck the DSA, just let him die, basically. Fuck, working socialist organizations. Well, what's the alternative? Well, I don't know. It's like, I think that really just overtly, I think just kind of shows that, like, I mean, even if ostensibly, you can be on the left, it's like, there are so many motherfucking people that are just so beaten down conditioned that at the end of the day, they just sound like fucking establishment liberals, when it comes to the brass tacks of things, because they just have been conditioned to think that it's, more or less defeatist to try to do something different, because, oh, well, we can't think outside the box. That would obviously never work. It's like, what, do you want fascism to take over? Which, honestly, it seems like every fucking electoral cycle, I always hear that, and yeah, it's like fascism has been normalized, but I don't really, like, over time, but I don't really think it's just because of, like, this guy or the other guy, existing and being president, honestly. I think that's just been a trend that's been, growing, for quite a while, and, and it's like nothing that really anyone really just strongly wants to do anything about. Because, dude, like, these fucking neo-Nazi fascist motherfuckers have been around since, I was growing up, dude. I remember some of the early days of YouTube, one of the things that I liked to do was troll neo-Nazi accounts on YouTube back in the day. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, there would be overt fucking, like, neo-Nazi accounts with, like, swastika PFPs back in the day where you could customize the whole background, where you can have, like, GIFs or, like, pictures in the background of your channel and stuff like that. It was just straight up, like, more Nazi shit, stuff like that. And I would troll the fuck out of them. At, like, while I'm, like, 8, or 9 or some shit. Like, back in the, 06, 07 days of YouTube. So I might have been a little older, but, I mean, around that time. And it's like, I mean, and these motherfuckers are around doing their stupid little rallies, trying to flex their shit. Because those same channels also have videos of, like, 4 or 5 of these, obviously basement-dwelling, stupid little dirtbag, pimple-looking fucks, just, like, out there with the Nazi flags and recording videos of people, yelling at them and shit. So it's like, I mean, they've been around since even the early 2000s. They've been a thing for a long fucking time. They've been a thing in America since, well, the Nazis were a thing, so it's like they never have gone away. It's just like they feel more comfortable to boast their fucking shit because, liberals have kind of conditioned this idea of like, oh, we're going to be tolerant, yeah. And they have, taken advantage of that and exploited that fucking mentality. Because, yeah, shocker, maybe you should be intolerant of a tolerance. Shocker. Seems like such a bad idea. It's like, give me a fucking break. White libs. Wait, what's this video? Okay, well, YouTube's being kind of weird. And also, this video is way too long for me to look at. We're a light liberal thing. Well, anyway, I'll put a pin on it. We'll look at it when I get off work and stuff. I mean, because I gotta go to work here pretty soon anyway. It's a little bit of a long clip. And also, we haven't really seen any Shark Zero, videos in a while, so I'll put a pin on it. So I'll review that paradoxical issues that accepting their tolerance inherently leads to restriction of freedom. Yeah, and I've said that before. Yeah, that's why I think, that's, in order to maximize true tolerance, yeah, you have to be intolerant of intolerance, because if you accept that, and try to be tolerant and civil with that shit, then, it leads inherently to restriction of freedom, intolerance, and liberty. Shocker. Like, it's as if, like, that whole, like, conditioned liberal mindset has kind of led to, the rise of fashion more so than, these right-wing chucklefucks exploiting it. Because, yeah, they exploit it, and also they have a lot more fucking money, invested into a lot of their shit. And it's easy for them to do bipartisan work with liberals because they all, agree when it comes to having a capitalistic economy. So, I mean, and also this is the reason why, would left to say they're, pretty much both the same parties. That's what they mean. They don't mean literally in every tiny little metric, but at least when it comes to the broad end game of what, is in their best interest when it comes to both of the parties and the people that, run those parties and are in the leadership of said parties, they have, the same end goals and common interests. Like, it's that shit, that people are referring to, or at least when leftists say that shit. It's like, yeah, you could find differences on social issues and maybe, nitpick a couple economic things here and there, but when it comes to the broader end interests of, like, the, like, pretty much like the CEO executive ends of, these political apparatuses, they're all on the same interests and same end goals. So, I mean, that's what leftists like me refer to when we say that both parties are the fucking same. Because in that level, they absolutely are. It's like saying allowing for freedom and being like, what about freedom of slavery? Yeah, it's like the whole, I mean, it's like basically what Southern Plantation or the Confederates were arguing, basically. It's like, oh, well, you say you want to maximize freedoms, for black folk and stuff like that, but what about my freedom to kind of own them, huh? What about my freedom to own, said black papers? It's like, well, I don't know, maybe fuck your freedom at that point. Think ignorance kind of lib. Okay. I mean, how? Those might be fight words. I mean, not enough for me to really stay here long enough to really hash it out that much. I'm just curious, like, name something I'm pretty hardcore lib about. Because I know, I tend to, like, be pretty critical of liberalism in a lot of ways. I mean, so, I don't know, like, how? I'm genuinely curious. What do you got? Because, oh, man, there's probably a couple of takes that, are probably more liberal-esque in nature, but I think, there are elements of leftism that, do have foundations of liberalism kind of in it, But, I mean, it's, but it's, like, but that doesn't inherently make it liberal. It's just, like, a more, expanded, radical version of a lot of those ideas. That's why they tend to be either, like, progressive / like, left in nature. You protest capitalism, yet you partake. Oh, my God. Oh, that. Okay. What have you called your fascist since liberal? That, I mean, not really. I mean, like, not really. I mean, it's, I don't know, like, like, my fascist sense isn't exactly that. Well, I mean, it depends on what I'm wearing. Like, what I'm wearing right now, definitely not. But, I mean, if I got my brown leather jacket and my Stetson hat on or some shit, I wouldn't, like, not be just liberal in that fashion sense, but also kind of maybe even conservative-esque leaning in that fashion sense. I don't think you have enough badges. That's true. I actually just recently added one right here. So, and yes, I need to add more. In fact, I need to, like, you know, get someone to stitch some fucking patches on here, because I have a few patches here. Like, I think I want to at least get one of these, maybe, like, one of these stitched up here, and then, like, another one stitched down here or something. I need to get patches stitched on this thing. I don't think I haven't, yeah. He has East German gear. Yeah, because I like to collect military memorabilia. So, collecting, you know, memorabilia because you like to collect stuff is... That... What? Oh. I mean, like, do you see anything that's East German on me right now? Because there isn't. I'm not wearing anything that would be. You never make a good comrade. You know, unironically, I would. So we're done with the anarchists, at least. There might be exceptions to that. I might have exceptions to making a good comrade at that point, because I think you might want to execute me at a certain point. I think we found the Vosh here. We found Vosh's secret account. I'm an anarchist, my dude. You know, the comrades of leftism. By the way, Blue no matter who. That was a stolen joke. Well, I know. But, I mean, you know, like, Voosh also, you know, likes to be like, oh, well, you know, anarchists are retarded, basically. So, I mean, you know, he's kind of the same thing. I mean, they're not wrong. What's this? When you get in an argument with someone on Twitter, do you drink water? So did Hitler. Damn. Do you drink water, Ignar? No, I drink iced tea. Strictly iced tea and Powerades. So unless Powerades and Gold Peak tea was a thing back in the day, I think I'm safe. So, ha! Got you, bitch. Checkmate, lib. Checkmate, you libtard. I don't think that's healthy. Well, obviously I'm kidding. I mean, I think, you know, tea's actually okay. I mean, the sugar... Well, cane sugar, I mean, it's a healthy sugar, I guess. I mean, Powerades aren't inherently that super bad either, but they're probably more unhealthy. But I also drink water. Alright, fine, you got me, lib. You got me, you damn lib turd. I drink the water. I drink that liberal goddamn Hitlerian H2O. Anywho, I'll get this last bowl of smoked up. Then call good and get myself to work. And all that fun stuff. Lol. So exciting. What's the man's masterpiece for? Interesting. You should DM me about it. But anyway, I at least got good for the rest of the night, so. Or, not night, Jesus Christ. You know what I meant. I'll at least, you know, be back here later this night when I get off work, so. A toodaloo, backers.